Hey everybody, I don't know if I will ever publish this video, but I am doing it mostly for me, for posterity. This is hopefully going to be one of at least 3 videos that talk about what it's like to live here amongst the restoration and all of the filth and all of the question marks and just crazy things that go on. So this one is going to be about the bathroom and what it's like to live in this kind of a bathroom situation. It's not for the faint of heart. I would not recommend it for really anybody, but it's one of the sacrifices that I was willing to make. I knew going in that it would be kind of like this. It would be rough. I grew up in a home that was built in 1903 and have fond memories of mom getting off work and spending the evening on a ladder, chipping away at paint around some woodwork with dental tools, or dad having a whole room with gold carpet in it, and that was kind of the wood shop area with all the tools and everything. So I'm not a stranger to that. I will say it's definitely different when it's your home and you own it and you're the one that's making those decisions. But it's been interesting. It's been a long road, and it's gonna make me so much more appreciative of what I have and how far I've come is kind of the plan. So I am in the upstairs bathroom, which is at the end of the hallway. There was a room that often was rented out when my mom lived here to either a family member or to a school teacher, somebody like that. There also was another room here in the hallway that both of those rooms, they tended to use this bathroom. Family tended to go downstairs to the bathroom that was right below me, which you guys know was recently taken out because it was originally the butler's pantry. So it is no more. Don't worry, there are lots of bathrooms anyways, it'll be fine. But this one I'm excited because this will be the one that I use on the daily. So I'm ready to get started on that. So I'll just kind of walk through some of the pieces and parts and tell some stories and some plans and everything. This is one of the few cabinets that's here on the wall. When I first got the home, I tried to do a deep clean. Somehow I missed a needle that I found about a year ago up on this shelf. Don't know how I did that, but really glad to be able to just take all of this stuff out because then I won't have any of those questions ever again. If you're wondering about that, there is a video about some of the recent history that was not so nice about the house, and how we're gonna take care of it and move it forward and respect it in the future. Anyway, so there's another cabinet just like that over here. Nothing in those cabinets. Light fixture, clearly not from the 1890s. But I will say they were committed to being very consistent. So here is the matching mirror. It's a trifold mirror. Mom said there actually was a trifold mirror here when she was living here as well, which she has talked about many times. She really liked to fix her hair. She had like this gorgeous long hair that's always shiny and everything. Makes you really jealous. So I can definitely see the value in that. I will be looking for one that kind of has, you know, a historic 1890s feel, preferably antique, but the reality is this is not the room that you would have stood in for hours on end doing your hair and makeup. We actually had whole rooms for that, and you're gonna see I'm gonna have an awesome room for that in the near future. This would be a place for maybe a gentleman to shave, although historically they would have even done that in their own rooms. So just not a big, huge room to hang out in because this was not a place that you would hang out. Very understandable. I will also say they were committed to being consistent because all the hardware matches. And you'll see the bathroom, the bath fixtures in a second as well. Free for anybody who would like these. I don't think there are gonna be any takers. This is my fancy motion sensor light fixture. It just kind of wanders around with me. Frankly, I tend to walk around in the dark. I will say I've kind of got everything memorized, and with this many windows in the house, it's not really too bad on most days. So this is just kind of nice when it's really dark for some reason. And I think it also kind of startles the animals or something that might be coming up the walkway. This I kind of use if I get just like super dirty and I need to kind of rinse off real quick. And Benadryl, because we are about as open to the elements as you can get. And then of course, this is where I brush my teeth and, you know, all of those just kind of normal bathroom things. There is no hot water, in case you were wondering. That is one of the things I'm super excited about fixing in the near future. Let's see, so then the next question is, there is definitely another appliance that's missing, and that would be the toilet. This one did have a toilet when I bought the house, and I didn't use it too terribly much because initially when we turned the water on, there was a slow leak of the valve. The valve is actually grouted in, and I cannot replace it without taking out the tile and a whole bunch of other things, which just seems absolutely ridiculous and is par for the course with some of the handyman work that was done. So one of the solutions was to go underneath this room and actually just cut the water supply, which is what I did. And about that time as well, it was discovered that the cast iron stack that is the original to the house that serves this area was completely compromised. In fact, there's a video that shows you can actually downstairs put your fingers through the crack in the stack. So one of the exciting things about this is I can finally open this wall up, which has about a, I don't know, it's about, I think a 4-inch diameter pipe, maybe a little bit bigger. It goes all the way up through this wall and then through the roof. So I'll be able to take that out, and now I can kind of start at the top, working my way down, taking those heavy pieces out and replacing with PVC pipe. It will be a little bit louder, which was one of the advantages of cast iron, but it will be significantly less weight and easier to repair if that ever becomes an issue. So I'm looking forward to that. The cooler was my refrigeration system for quite some time. And being in Texas, being hot, one of the things that I have missed the most living here, and we'll talk about this again when I get into the kitchen, is being able to go down the stairs and just get a glass of ice water. That has not been an option for me since I got the house. So what I've had to do is buy a bag of ice, put it in the cooler, and that in the summer lasts for about a day if I'm lucky. And this particular one is not good from an insulation perspective. And then in the winter, you can get about 2 to 3 days out of a cooler of ice. It's kept in the bathroom usually because then I can just dump the water out in the bathtub. So it's a little bit dirty because I had it in kind of a construction area recently. So the next thing is the window. Really grateful for this window. Don't judge me on my curtain, but it obviously is an aluminum window and everything is damaged and stuff. Obviously not original. The plan is to go back to what would have originally been here, which is actually 3 windows, and they would have been casement and they would have been the diamond pattern. So really beautiful, lots of ventilation, which I do appreciate. And I cannot wait to be able to, I'm a big bath taker, to be able to just sit in the bathtub and look out to the tops of the trees and the skyline and, you know, look at the stars and all those kinds of things. Really appreciate all of that hard work. So that's going to be really nice, but I got to get this demoed and hopefully I'll be able to figure out what was going on in the right dimensions once I reach that point. These are my actual toiletries. So not super fancy, but in all honesty, I was like this before I moved here. I have moved a lot in my young adult life, and so I've just learned that it is much easier to keep everything in clearly labeled clean tubs. It kind of prevents spills, and it also kind of makes you a little bit more minimal because you do clean out on the regular. I've got a big bin for bandages and first aid supplies for obvious reasons. I get splinters a lot. I, you know, get cut a lot. And yes, I've had my tetanus shot and stuff. But then there's bath products. I do tend to buy in like the same thing in bulk. So I've got backups and I don't obviously have to run to the store very quickly to replace items. Then I normally travel for a living. So I do splurge a little, and I have travel size little shampoos and conditioners and face wash and things that are my preferred products. I think that's valuable when you spend so much time on the road for work. And then of course, you know, just girl things and stuff. So that was not anything specific to this lifestyle, but I think it's actually really helpful for me to be able to identify how much space I need for actual storage in the actual bathroom. So I just need to fit those small amounts of things. I think this will be just fine. Trash can, kind of a similar thing. I've always not wanted to have everything be kind of left open where you can see it. If you've ever had pets, that's also kind of an important feature. But certainly living in this house, worrying about, you know, a random cat running in and pulling something out, this is just that much more important. And then that brings me to the cabinets, which are located behind the shower. I've lived in another house that had this same feature. Not a fan of it at all. There were shelves up at top and then there are drawers down bottom. Cleaning that is a nightmare, which means it generally just doesn't get clean, and I do like things to be clean, so that feature will not be going back in. Also, being able to replace valves and washers and things on your bathroom hardware, it's a lot easier when you have access to it. So excited to get all of that gone, and hopefully I won't discover any other scary things in those cabinets when I take them out. And then that brings me to the bathtub itself. I will let you appreciate the fixtures. Yep, that's a fixture, all right. So in general, this has been the place that I would rinse off. For most of the time that I've been here, I did have a shower downstairs the first year until one of the pipes busted. But in general, this is where I would come after working on the house and just needing to rinse off quickly. Or in the summer when it's triple digits for weeks on end, the water here coming out at, I think it's about 60 degrees Fahrenheit, not a problem. It feels lovely. So I kind of live full time taking showers here in the summer. Obviously in the winter you have a hypothermia issue, so that's not gonna happen. The other value to that is I can go get a hot shower at mom and dad's house, which is about 20 minutes away. I have had family and friends offer their showers here in town, but I don't really wanna do that, going into their nice clean homes all covered in nasty stuff. So I've tried to avoid that. But if I do get into poison ivy, then it's really critical that I wash with this as soon as possible. Unfortunately, I do have a couple of neighbors that still don't really mow and kind of keep up. And so I end up with poison ivy that still kind of spreads. So this should be used with hot water, but in a pinch, this is better than having to wait and spread it everywhere. So it's kind of a mad rush up to take the shower and wash off with that. So that's why I'm really grateful to still have this functioning shower, even if it is just cold water. So I am excited to get rid of it though. Another interesting thing about it, this looks dirtier than it really is, I promise. I think what has happened is as I opened up the ceiling that's below this room, you could tell that the plumbing was not arranged correctly in the most recent years when they rerouted it, and so it's not vented properly, and it also doesn't have the best slope for drainage. I was able to go in and kind of quickly at least eliminate some of that issue, but getting more air into the pipe system so that when the water drains down, there's not a vacuum created, or there is a vacuum created that will basically suction everything out and replace all that water with air, has been a problem. So it still drains pretty slow, but it's better than it was. And I think that's probably what happened, is this shower didn't drain very quickly, and they assumed that it was a clog. But now that I've actually replaced all the plumbing from below here all the way out to the street, excuse me, I have realized that it's not a clog, but I'm sure they poured a ton of chemicals in here, and that's what has really kind of eaten away at the acrylic surface of the tub. So make sure your plumbing's right first, then you won't have that problem. So we will actually reroute all of the plumbing back to how it originally was, because I am sure that it drained correctly back then. So we will get that kind of fixed up here in the near future. I'm excited to have that happen, about as much as having hot water. So that brings me to the actual tub and what the plan is with that. So the tub obviously was not this. Mom says that it was a pedestal tub, which would have been cast iron back in the day. And I think all of it, just looking at the historic plumbing, which is still in place underneath the house, or underneath the this floor, it actually, you know, was plumbed so that it drained and the water supply was over here on this side. I am gonna cheat in one area, and so I'm not going back with a cast iron. which historically I would do. But out of respect for my body and the people who would be getting the house after me, my family, I don't want to do that to them. So I had been on the hunt for over a year looking for an acrylic version of a reproduction tub. I could find a ton of acrylic pedestal tubs that have a drain in the center, but could not find one that had a drain on the end. And so yes, a dual-sided tub would be kind of cool, but there's not a lot of width anyways, and then that would cause issues with being able to run the actual drain in the center versus on the edge. So I think I have finally found two options. Let's hope that they're available. And so now I'm ready to kind of embark on that. I want to take everything out so that I can get measurements correct. Do not want to assume you want to measure about 80 times and cut once in this situation. So I want to pull everything out and be able to measure right down to the bare wall and know exactly what I have to deal with, because this is a very narrow space in behind the door. And yeah, the other thing is, the reason why this is a perfect time is it's about to be winter time. It's December, which means I am gonna stop having showers anyways. So it's a good time to be able to take everything out. And hopefully by summertime, I will be good to go, able to take a shower and have everything get back in, and it'll just be really nice. So let's hope that everything goes smoothly. I am already grateful to at least be at this point. In the near future, I'll be able to supply electricity and hot water. And this will be a new way of living, back to civilization again. I am so excited, but I'm proud that I've been able to put up with it for this long. So anyways, you guys take care, and I will talk soon.